Hi, my name is Meagan Johnson, and I am so excited and super flattered to be launching the incredible series, Pivoting in Heels. When I was asked by a superpower, Sandy Hudson, to start this series off, I was thrilled because it really does touch upon something I think is so important, women and their finances. And I am over the moon to be able to introduce you to Sandy. And Sandy, this is sort of your brainchild, right? Pivoting in Heels.
Right.
Yep. And Sandy is the CEO of Trust Wealth Management. So I think if anybody knows about women and their finances, it's going to be Sandy. Because I kind of go with the, like, if I feel like I have money in my checkbook, I probably have money, right? I think that's my guiding financial principle right there. So Sandy, tell us a little bit about this series.
I will. I just have to comment, though. You know, when I was raising my 3 children, they used to keep saying, like, oh, Mom, I want to get X or whatever. And I kept saying, we don't have the money to do that. And they go, you have checks. You have checks. Just write a check. Right. That sort of thing. But thank you, Meagan. It's just such an honor to be here with you.
Thank you.
I just love hanging out with you and learning all the things that you do around the generations as well. I think they tie really well together. And I just followed my lifelong passion of helping women understand the power that financial literacy and harnessing that power around your money can bring to you to get you whatever it is you want in life and that you deserve. During my entire professional career, I have worked with many, many women, probably hundreds of them, around helping them understand that everybody needs a plan. You've got to have a plan. You've got to take that power that you've harnessed around your money, come up with a plan, and then execute well around it so that then you can be tremendously successful. Trust Bank's Women in Wealth Pivoting in Heels is all about women helping women become successful and using those plans and helping each other learn and grow and share around how to make that happen. So Meagan Johnson is a generational humorist and best-selling author of Generations, Inc. And I've been very fortunate to have seen her and her presentation before a couple of times, actually. And I just knew this would be something wonderful to kick off our series together as we all work with multiple generations of women and help us all be successful. And Meagan always tells it like it is. I'm just telling you in a very humorous way. But she's going to really tell us how we think and act and react based on our generations and how we can maybe do that better and help each other. So with that, I'll let you take it away, Meagan.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Again, this is really very exciting. And I have to say a little generational point. We're talking about a checkbook. I had a CEO of a credit union recently said to me, he said, what's the point of offering a box of free checks as an incentive to open an account when young people aren't writing checks? Don't write any checks anymore. Yeah. So
yes.
So all of you who registered, thank you very much. And we're going to start our session off with a generational question that should be popping up on your screen. And this is a very scientific question, and it is, what is your favorite boy band?
Oh.
Very good. Could it be the Beatles? Could it be NSYNC? Could it be Backstreet Boys? Or One Direction? I don't even know who that is. We have a millennial. I want to point out that Sandy and I are sitting 6 feet apart. We have a very small group in the room with us wearing masks. We do have a millennial. Millennial, what is One Direction?
Millennial?
What is One Direction?
Stephanie, what's One Direction?
It's a wonderful boy band. It's a wonderful boy band. All right.
Yes.
So we're going to give you a few minutes to answer that and get going. All of you graciously answered some survey questions when you registered, and one of the questions you answered was characteristics of an older workforce. And some of like us, okay, right?
Like us.
So characteristics of an older workforce. And on the positive, people said, hey, you know what? The older workforce has wisdom, right? So wisdom to share, experience, knowledge, mentorship. Customers like and trust the older generations.
True, yeah.
You have strong face-to-face communication. You know, like
it's true.
The whole eye contact thing, talking face-to-face. You're always on time, if not early. In fact, My mother always said, if you're not early, you're late. No, you're just waiting is what you're doing. Dependable, and the older generation likes to talk about the good old days.
Good old days. Back when?
Back when? Back when I was your age.
That's right.
On the flip side, though, we asked what are some of your frustrations about the older generation, you said they resist change. Yeah, we hate. This is the way we've always done it. When you don't rock the boat, or a lot of times people say, they suggest something and the older generation says, we've tried that before.
Oh, yeah,
we've tried that. And when the younger generation asks, when did you try it? Tried it before you were born. And so we better not even try it again because nothing's changed.
Right.
They stereotype the younger generation. That's a big complaint from the younger generation. They get stereotyped. Slow, don't embrace new technology. Right? Yeah. Sometimes the older generation will call you on the phone to tell you they're sending you an email that you should print.
I see myself in that so often.
And then you can sign it.
Yeah.
Fax it back. We just put some thermal paper in our fax machine.
There you go.
And then the older generation likes to talk about the good old days. That's another complaint. Now, on the other side, we said, what are characteristics of the younger workforce, younger millennials, Gen Z? The Gen Z is now in the workforce. What are characteristics? Positive, they said, hey, you know what? They're creative, and they really are. So and we've seen that now that where most of us are working from home, Zooming, connecting online, super creative, tech savvy. Yeah, they'll stand right next to you and text you, and then they look at you and say, "Did you get my text?"
Come in your office.
They're passionate. They're entrepreneurial. They're environmentalists. They want to recycle stuff before we've even used it. Fun, energetic, challenge the status quo. They're excited and they embrace change, and they really do. They really do embrace the change. On the flip side, though, people say, hey, you know what? Sometimes they have bad attitudes. They don't have very good attitudes. They're entitled. This was a big one. I saw this on the surveys quite a bit. They want to know when they're going to get a raise, when they'll get a promotion.
When they'll be the CEO.
When they'll be CEO. When you'll be out, Sandy. They can take your position.
Going to be leaving soon. Probably die.
I told you. They complain. You know what? You want me to work at night? You want me to work on the weekends? Gossip, lazy, apathetic, rude, disloyal, wants reward with no effort. But that favorite one's the last one. That's my favorite. They want to have fun.
That's true.
They want the work to be fun. And if work isn't fun, they'll flat out tell you, that's not fun.
Yeah, I know. When I was younger, it was pretty much you pay me, where do I sit?
Yes.
Whatever you want, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm grateful to have the job.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Kind
of think yours might be good, though. Gotta have fun.
Thank you for all these answers. But I do have to tell you something, Sandy, about this last slide. This actually did not come from our survey questions at all.
Oh, really?
Nope. This list of negatives about the younger generation, I got this list from Life magazine, 1968. Yes.
Oh, wow.
1968. It's actually describing baby boomers. Baby boomers.
Us.
Yes. In fact, how many of you, let's hear some shout outs from the baby boomers.
Yeah.
Baby boomers. Do we have, and our audience, how many of you are baby boomers? Let's hear from the baby boomers.
Yes, let's hear.
Yay, baby boomers. You know what, baby boomers? Let's review. Baby boomers, let's review.
Let's review.
Your managers thought you had bad attitudes. You were entitled.
Jeez.
You complained. Gossip, lazy, apathetic, rude, disloyal, wanted reward with no effort, and all you want to do, baby boomers, was have fun. Yeah.
Wow.
Now
that's interesting.
Now all the baby boomers are sitting out there saying, well, that's all character building stuff. That's what that is. That's character building stuff.
Character building.
Yes. Real quick though, why don't we hear the answers from our poll questions? What was the number one boy band? What was our answer on the poll question?
Beatles. I have to put my glasses on because I am.
Yeah, we're reading a monitor.
Got those for Stephanie. Our millennial who is running everything for us.
Right, exactly.
Because she knows everything. The Beatles, 53%.
The Beatles got 53%. All right, our Beatles. NSYNC, 26%. Backstreet Boys, 14%. And One Direction, 9%. 9%.
Apparently a lot of other people didn't know who they were either.
So Sandy, who was your favorite Beatle? Were you a Paul McCartney fan?
Paul.
You
I mean, look at the eyes. How
Yeah.
can you not love that guy? I mean,
You didn't
seriously.
go rogue and like Ringo?
And now he's what, like 70 something?
Yeah.
He still looks good.
He still
I
looks-
still like him. He's very cute.
Pretty soon they're going to call him a silver fox.
Yes.
But all right, how many of you though are people that are watching? How many of you are Generation X? This is my generation, people born between 1965 and 1980. Gen Xers, audience members out there? Do we have Gen Xers chiming in? Yay?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gen Xers, don't sit there so smug. In 1998, Fortune magazine called us the gold collar workers. This was not a compliment.
Oh.
No,
Oh.
I actually thought.
I like
ooh,
gold.
I know. Doesn't that sound? No.
That sounds good. Yeah.
And here's a little snippet from that article. And I love that last line. It's summing up Gen X's attitude about work. Work is not work. It's a hobby you happen to get paid for.
Oh.
And that was about Generation X in 1998. So when we look at that list of negatives describing the younger generation, I mean, it's nothing new. We've been, and
the same
really
thing.
what we're describing is a youthful generation.
That's right.
Really,
Yeah,
youthful.
exactly.
And the definition that I like to use for youthful is new. They have a new, different set of experiences than you do. In the book that I co-wrote with my baby boomer dad, which was a whole other generational experience, we call these experiences generational signposts. And a generational signpost is an event or phenomena that's specific to one generation. Now, I did have several audience members who filled out the surveys. They said, you know what, when we start talking about generations, aren't we really stereotyping people or putting people in boxes? I mean, especially now when our country is so divided, we really want to be as inclusive as possible. We don't want to look for reasons to exclude one another. And that's not my intent at all, because when we start talking about generations, here's what generational signposts do. Generational signposts explain how events, technology, and the economy shape various groups of people. Clusters of people born during a certain time frame have experienced similar situations and can be differentiated from other generations. And these generational signposts, they influence you in your relationship with your coworkers, they influence you with your relationship with your employer, your family, and especially influence you with your relationship with money.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So for example, here's an example of a generational signpost. My dad, he's a baby boomer. I don't know if he's watching or not, but if you are, hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
He had a paper route. And here in Phoenix, Arizona, we are actually broadcasting from Scottsdale, Arizona right now. And he had a paper route when he was 10 years old. And he said he got up at 5 in the morning, he delivered the papers Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
And then he would go collect the money. And he was 10 years old. And I like to ask people who still even receive a newspaper. Do you receive a newspaper, Sandy? Okay.
No.
Barb, do you receive a newspaper? All right. No, none of our baby boomers receive a newspaper in the group.
Stephanie, do you get a newspaper?
Stephanie, do you get a newspaper? No.
Like, no.
She's like, no. Why do I want yesterday's news?
Electronically.
So,
That's the way you see
yeah, electronically. But I like to ask groups, how many of you receive a
actual
physical newspaper? In fact, those of you watching, how many of you receive a physical newspaper? And if you do, is it delivered by a 10-year-old? No.
I would think no.
No, it's delivered by an adult who
yeah.
drives by in their car.
Right.
If you're standing out there, they aim it at you. Remember when we were little kids, when your school would have a fundraiser, sell candy?
Oh, yeah.
How would you sell that candy?
Door to door.
Door to door.
Yes.
Thank you, Barb.
Yeah.
How do we sell our kids candy today?
In front of the grocery store?
We just buy it all for
Or
them.
just
Yeah, we just
buy
buy
it
it all.
offline,
We just
yeah.
look at them and say, I'll take one of everything.
Yeah, just give me
Just
10
get it over
boxes,
with. Yeah.
Just give me some.
My point is that my dad, my baby boomer dad, he had this generational signpost that taught him time management skills, customer service skills, money handling skills.
That's right.
Yeah, and now that generational signpost is gone. But that's true of every generation.
That's true.
We all have generational signposts that change, evolve, and sometimes dissolve. Were you going to say something? I kind of wrote over you
I
there.
was just going to say, back to when you are fundraising now, what I actually have is typically, parents will come into the office and say, my son or my daughter's selling Girl Scout cookies, for instance. How many do you want? So it's the parents who are selling a lot of those
Doing the
cookies.
selling, yeah, exactly.
With the children,
Yeah.
of course.
I just eat the cookies. Yeah.
That's how, I usually order them.
But I still have them. I have those Thin Mints stacked in my
I love
freezer.
them. Love them.
But what this does is lead to conflict. We all have generational signposts that have a strong emotional connection, and that emotional connection is absent with someone from a different generation. So, in talking to a lot of the attendees, I ask people, what's the biggest change you see in your job? What's the biggest? How has your industry evolved? Can you guess what the most common answer is? What's the biggest change people have seen across industries?
No, I don't know. What do you think?
Technology.
Oh,
technology. Yeah, technology, yeah. So,
I don't know. I just asked Stephanie.
Yeah, yeah.
No, a lot of technology, definitely, for sure.
So the technology we use has changed, and we've adapted using that new technology to be more efficient.
Like
right?
today.
Yeah. Right. So this is before COVID, I was at Scottsdale Fashion Square Mall, it's right here, and I was walking by the mall directory. Remember, the mall directory shows you the outline of the mall, list of all the stores. There was a 3-year-old girl. She was standing in front of that mall directory sign. She was taking her finger, she was placing it on the sign, and she was moving her hand across the sign, trying to manipulate and change the images on the mall directory sign. And
3 years old.
3 years old. And when the sign didn't move, she looked at her mother and said, "It's broke." Right. She felt the sign had broken. So just like our expectations change because technology has changed and how we do our job, that 3-year-old's expectation of what the vendors in the mall are going to do to connect with her have changed. And it only makes sense is that when we're trying to connect across generational lines, that we change our approach to be as successful as possible connecting across generational lines. So I want to take a little journey, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
And take a look at each generation, their generational signposts, and what you can do to make each encounter a more successful one. Now, those of you that are watching, like all of us, if you would like a complimentary generational decoder card, this is a low down dirty summary of everything we're talking about.
It's really handy. It's really nice.
Oh, thank you.
I love it.
Send me an email. That's my email address right there, Meagan@meaganjohnson.com. I can send you a physical copy or I can send you a digital copy, whatever you'd like. I will also be giving away a copy of my book. If you would like to win a copy of my book, send me an email, same email address, and write something in the subject line like, give me the dang book. I want to win the book. All right, let me have the book. I know some of you are like, a book? Something we did in before times. We read a book. If those of you that like to keep in touch digitally, please text the word generations to number 44222. Text the word generations to number 44222. So let's start our generational journey with the traditional generation. These are people born before 1945. And I know that when I looked at the registration list, we have some traditional. We do.
Oh,
we have some
so
traditional.
exciting.
Great shout outs. Give a clap out to the traditional generation. Woo! All right, traditional. And those of you watching virtually, let's have some shout outs for the traditional generation. Many of us have people in the traditional generation in our own families, right?
Yes.
My grandma, both of my grandmothers are from the traditional generation. Also called the silent generation, but my favorite name for this generation is one coined by Tom Brokaw, the greatest generation.
The greatest generation. Yeah.
This is a picture of Fred Winter. Fred Winter is 101 years old. He recently completed the Michigan Senior Olympics. Senior Olympics, 101 years old.
101. I can only hope.
Sandy, he was number 1 in his age class.
Oh my gosh.
He was the only one in his age class.
Wow, that's so exciting. There's hope for me.
He was the only one.
A long time from now, but no.
And the reporter asked him, they said, how is it that Mr. Winter, you're 101, you're out here, you're competing. And whenever people get asked these types of questions, I always hope deep down they say something like, I eat fried foods and I cocktail heavily.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Mr. Winter does 100 push-ups a day. 100 push-ups a day. I was feeling very discouraged until an audience member told me about this gentleman at age 111. He's America's oldest veteran. He still smokes cigars and drinks whiskey every day.
Yes.
That's my kind of guy right there.
Like it.
Financially, the traditional generation really laid the bedrock that many of us build our financial dreams on today. As I mentioned, we are here in Arizona. I'm a 3rd-generation native. my grandmother, this is the home that my grandmother grew up in. It's over on 3rd Avenue in Roosevelt, those of you who are Arizona people. 3rd Avenue in Roosevelt. It recently was moved across the street. And I believe your guest next session, your guest is
Kimber Lanning.
Kimber Lanning. My understanding is Kimber Lanning had quite a bit to do with having this home moved, not torn down. So I want to make sure I send her a message thanking her.
Oh, that's so exciting.
But my grandmother said that when she grew up, 3rd Avenue Roosevelt, she said it was the edge of town. The edge of town. Average cost of a first home for someone in the traditional generation was $7,000. $7,000. Many of us have spent more on a used car. And as this traditional generation, as they came home from World War II, they began to have children, which is what I think these two people are about to do. Right, yeah. And that's where we have the baby boom, right? These are people born from 1946 and 1964. Yay. Baby boomers, let's hear it out there. Yay! Shout out to the baby boomers. This generation is huge. Sandy, as you know, you're a baby boomer. Yes. 72 million people were born. 72 million.
They were very busy.
In 1964, Time magazine named, now you've got me laughing, Time magazine named baby boomers the man of the year. They said baby boomers are going to clean up our cities, end racial discrimination, and find a cure for the common cold. Baby boomers are the first generation to ever be graded on a report card, works well, and plays well with others. Yeah. Because baby boomers were the first generation where education became an expectation. And the change that we've seen is that baby boomers place a high emphasis on teamwork. Right?
That's true.
What's great? What's good for the team? Because you remember back in school, baby boomers had very large classroom sizes, 30, 40, 50 kids to a class.
Oh, yes.
I had an audience member tell me a couple months ago he had 70 kids in his first grade class. 70.
Yeah. There were a lot of us.
Yes, right. So if there weren't enough materials in the classroom, what were you expected to do? Share. You shared supplies.
That's right.
My baby boomer dad, he said that he even shared a desk. He shared a desk in school. Yeah. So teamwork, and so we saw that in the rise of teams. Think about the 80s. We had team meetings, team leaders.
Team building, team everything.
Group hugs. Kumbaya. Baby boomer stuff. Inside every baby boomer, there's a kid wondering what the heck happened. This guy's just wondering what the heck happened to his pants. Though now that we're all Zooming, maybe we're all wearing this right now, you know?
Maybe.
All right, so there is an assumption we make about baby boomers. It's not correct. I am just as guilty of this, though. Do you guys, I have a couple baby boomers in the room. Do we want to guess at what that assumption might be?
I don't know.
Audience, you want to chime in? What assumption? Someone chimed in that all baby boomers are hippies.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah, but that's not what I was looking for. But yeah, all right. And someone chimed in that
I did have a tie-dyed shirt. Actually, a tube top. I think I did.
A tie-dyed tube top.
Yeah.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah.
Actually, technology. That's the answer I'm looking for. Yeah, technology.
Really?
Yeah. People, we often assume that baby boomers don't use technology.
Oh, yes.
But as we see now, baby boomers are using technology. And I love to point out to groups, especially millennials and Gen Z, that baby boomers were the very first iPhone users. Yeah, they had iPhones before anybody.
See?
Right
they were really big.
They're blowing them up. Their iPhones are just blown up. All right, so.
I just saw the picture. Oh, that's so cute. I do remember that. Okay.
This is John Ledger. He was the CEO of T-Mobile, and he has a little video I'm going to play. Is it okay if I play this video?
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay, it does have profanity in it, but we bleep the profanity out. Okay, we bleep the profanity out. So he's just talking about baby boomers. He's obviously a baby boomer and technology. So give me a second. Let's start this video.
Kind of hippie. She has longer hair.
There we go. Come on. Oops.
And I'm here today to fix something that drives me completely crazy, and I bet I'm not alone. I'm talking about the way the wireless industry treats boomers and beyond. I'm sure you've seen it, the belittling, the condescending offers, and not to mention the way they jack up prices on them. It's absolute and degrading at the highest level. This generation deserves a little respect. I mean, they invented the whole wireless industry to begin with. Boomers are the most loyal, long-term wireless customers in the world. Why are they being patronized by the carriers? Seriously, it feels a little something like this.
Did you see Madeline's post?
Yes. Tired of squinting and struggling with that smart aleck phone when all you want is big buttons?
No.
We love our phones.
Now get everything you could possibly want on a phone made just for you. Big buttons, phone calls. Wow! Confused by all these newfangled words like data, social media, and streaming.
Not really.
We're always streaming and using data.
Now you don't have to worry about all that pesky data.
What about Facebook?
You're too old to even know what that is.
I don't think you know us very well.
This is total.
I love that video. Now, I do have some people say, but Meagan, I am, people in my family or people I work with, they seem to slow to embrace some forms of technology. And really, what...
Hi, I'm
Whoops.
back.
Oh, sorry,
and
we
I'm
don't
here
want you
today
to
to
be
fix
back.
something that drives me
Whoops, there we go. If you have someone that's resisting technology, what they fail to understand is how will this technology make my job or life easier. All right? Don't tell me we're just getting this new technology because it's got a better phone ring. But how is this technology going to make my job or life easier? And if you're the proponent of the new technology, it's going to fall upon you to demonstrate it to them.
So I'll give you an example.
Yes.
My daughter, when she was going to college, she's always in and out of classes and everything. And frankly, the only way I could communicate with her is if I texted. This was a few years ago, not last week. So I had to learn to text because what I figured out was I could communicate with her because if I just call, she's not going to pick up, but I could do this texting thing. And so it helped me. And now I do it all the time.
Yeah.
But before that, I was like, what do you need to text? Just call somebody up,
Yeah.
Sound like my grandfather. But now I figured out that it helped me.
Yeah, it made your life easier
Yeah.
in contact. Yeah, same thing with online banking. My
Yes.
financial institution embraced the online banking very early. And my dad, who is very tech savvy, just couldn't get the whole idea. I said, you take a picture of the check. And then he says, and then you take the check to the bank. I said, no.
No,
Never.
that's it.
He says, he said, that's not going to work. Now, several years later, he's all over the board with online banking. He knows more about it than I do. But how will this technology make my job or life
Easier.
Financially, money-wise, baby boomers and money, baby boomers are the first credit card generation. Really?
Oh, yeah.
So we think about the traditional generation, they paid everything with what?
Checks.
Cash. Or you
yeah.
put it on layaway. I remember my grandma.
Oh, yeah, we did the layaway for our school
yeah.
clothes.
Yeah.
That was a big thing, go to JCPenney, put things in layaway.
So baby was the first generation that embraced credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to the COVID, what were they spending their money on? Travel and experiences. But today, what are they spending their money on? Alcohol. Alcohol.
I got to get in line with that.
I know. Baby boomers represent 33% of the population, yet they make up 45% of the nation's alcohol sales.
Oh.
And also cable TV. They are not cutting they're not cutting the ties with the cable or satellite TV. They in fact are spending more while all the rest of us are jumping off that bridge.
Doing the streaming thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Do you have cable or satellite?
I have both.
Both.
I have cable and I stream too.
Oh, you cable and stream. You don't have cable and satellite.
No, but I have cable and then I have all the others too.
Okay.
So I'm figuring I'll cut the cord sometime.
So soon.
But it's very slow.
Yeah.
You have to cable. It's just like instantaneous. You push a button, and Netflix or whatever you have to go, it spins around and around.
Oh,
so
spins around for all of 15 seconds. Yeah.
Maybe 5.
And then you have to select your profile if you're in Netflix. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's.
I told my daughter I wouldn't come see her unless she had like something other than that stuff. But
you actually told your daughter you wouldn't come see her until she.
Of course I do.
But she stays at a hotel. Like, I'm going to stay at a hotel where I can get good old cable TV.
She got cable, so I would have that too. So it's just like push a button. But I'm getting there. I am getting there because I am using Netflix and all those other ones a lot.
Yeah.
So.
My husband and I did that.
Maybe I'm slow. See, that's one of our agents.
Slow to,
kind of
yeah,
slow to
yeah,
change,
yeah.
but I am.
Once you
getting there.
recognize how easy it is,
Yeah, exactly.
you will love it. My grandmother, I mentioned her earlier. I came to pick her up to go out to dinner, and she was having her evening cocktail.
Oh yes.
She actually, before COVID hit, came to see me speak, and after the presentation, I ran up to her. I said, "Well, Grandma, what'd you think?" And she said, "Well," she said, "I heard that story you told about me." I said, "Oh, what about it?" She said, "You made me sound like a lush in front of all those people." So I promised my grandmother, in case
You would
she's
not say that again.
I promised, in case she's watching right now, I promised my grandmother I'd point out to every audience she only has one drink
One drink.
every half
Poor
hour.
grandma. There you go.
So there she is. But
I'll join
I'm in a
you.
hurry. I want to go.
All right.
So I say, "Come on, Grandma, let's go." And my grandmother says, "Let me finish my drink."
Yeah.
And I say to my grandmother, this is my grandmother. She comes from the traditional generation. She experienced the Great Depression. I said to my grandma, "Pour that drink out." I said, "Just pour it out."
Oh no.
You know my
you can't
grandma,
waste
Sandy.
it. Yeah.
She says, yeah. She says, "I cannot waste my drink.
it.
Waste my drink."
Yeah,
I said, "Don't
that's
worry,
wasteful.
Grandma. Yeah, we'll
worry.
get you
We'll
another
get you another
drink.
one,
We'll
yeah.
get you another drink at the restaurant." She said, "The restaurant?" She said, "Oh, Meg."
That's expensive.
Yeah. In fact, she's the only one that is allowed to call me Meg. She said, "Oh, Meg, those are too
Expensive.
expensive." I said, "Grandma, it doesn't matter how much the drink costs. I'll buy it.
buy it.
I'll buy your drink. Just get in the car."
Let's go.
Now, if you said to anybody in my peer group, and I know I got a lot of my peer group watching right now, if you said to anybody in my peer group,
Like in.
"If you get into the car quickly, I will buy you your drink
Done.
when we arrive," yeah,
I'm in.
they'd be in the car. Now, my grandma just stood there. She stood there and she finished her drink.
Finished your drink.
Didn't say one word to me while she did it. Now, I love my grandmother, but you know what, Sandy? I still got annoyed. It irritated me. She wouldn't change her behavior. And it irritated me because my expectation of her behavior was based upon my generational signpost. So can you imagine? You have 72 million baby boomers living in a world that have been created by the traditional generation.
Yeah.
And so what baby boomers began to do, they began to really challenge and question society norms and the rules during the late 60s and the early 70s.
Yes.
And during the late 60s and early 70s, a
I
lot
had
of
my tube top.
you did your job. A lot of baby boomers,
Good
though, had pharmaceutical assistants during the late 60s
I
and the
wouldn't
early
say
70s.
that, but
This is actually a picture, Sandy, of my two favorite baby boomers, my mom and dad.
oh, they're so cute.
Yes, that's my dad in the center, wearing what could be best described as a tablecloth. I don't know. And that's my mom sitting off to the side. And I'll
With a
tell you right
poncho
now,
on.
I hit the jackpot when it comes to parents. I got two of the best people in the world as parents. But what I love the most about this picture is if you look closely, my entire adolescence, my mother told me she never smoked.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And then I found this
I got the
picture,
smoking
Mom.
and drinking going on.
found it.
Yeah.
So when I asked her about this, I said, "Mom, what is
What was
that?
that?"
What is that?" She said she was holding it for somebody else.
Somebody else.
Yeah, she's holding it for somebody else. But you know what? Baby boomers were successful by challenging the rules. By challenging the rules, the job market began to open up for women. In the 50s, classified ads were separated by gender. There were help wanted ads for men and there were help wanted ads for women. And in 1950, it was perfectly legal to list the same job in both columns with two different salaries. Two different salaries.
Oh yes.
In fact, here's an ad for Hilton Hotels. I love this job description. Job requirements: good feet, eyesight, and a trim figure. This is for housekeeping. This is for housekeeping.
Apparently dancing.
It
I
did.
don't know.
He was. I always love a good housekeeper that can dance.
Yeah.
We have a really good question that's come
Yes,
through from
wonderful.
Connie. Hey, thank you, Connie, for sending this question because it's something I neglected to mention. Is it normal? Okay, no, it's not. Nothing's normal. No. Is it normal if you're
What
on
is
the
normal?
border of two generations that you don't feel fully in either? Completely normal. You're what's called a cusper. You're on the cusp of two generations. And what we found in researching the book is that cuspers seem to have a more organic ability to flex between the two generations.
That could be beneficial.
Yeah, it's extremely beneficial. So let's say you're on the cusp of Millennial and Gen X. The way that, and we found this in focus groups, the way a cusper would be described they'd be described as approachable. That person is more approachable. Now, that doesn't mean I'm solid Gen X. I'm right in the middle of Gen X. That doesn't mean I can't flex or be flexible. But what it means is that it just seems to come a little bit more naturally to someone on the cusp. So if you're cusper, Connie, if you're a cusper, you get a star. You get the cusper star. Now I totally forgot what I was going to say. See, thanks, Connie. You've distracted me.
The
now.
two different wage.
Oh, yes, there we go. And
This
so.
was in 14?
That just I got out of a magazine. Yeah, no, it wasn't in 2014. I found it in print in 2014.
1950s.
Yes, now in the 1950s. And as the job market began to open up for women, it also coincided with the Vietnam War. And that is where we have Generation X. And these are people born between 1965 and 1980. This is my generation. Woo! Yay! Let's hear it from the Gen Xers out there. Come on, Gen Xers, whoop it up. Generation X, I got some news for you. We are the smallest generation. We're barely there. We represent 13% of the entire population. 1 in 6 is a Gen Xer. Sandy, we were lucky to get a name.
Wow.
I know. And in fact, if this whole thing were the Brady Bunch, Gen Xers, we would be Jan. Yeah, we're Jan.
Marsha.
We're the forgotten middle child.
There you go, yeah.
Nobody wants to go to prom with us. We're caught between the cute millennial sister Cindy and the more popular sister, you already said her name.
Jan.
Marsha. And Generation X, we're the first generation to have in large numbers both parents working outside the home. I want to make that point, working outside the home. So we came home from school. Gen Xers, listen up. When we came home from school, mom wasn't there, dad wasn't there, nobody was there. What do we call that? What do we call that at this time?
Latchkey.
Latchkey, being a latchkey kid, yeah. I was a latchkey kid.
Got the key around
Got the
your
key,
neck.
I put your key around your little string around your neck. I was a latchkey kid. And I will tell everybody, this is the unvarnished truth about being a latchkey kid. It was awesome! Oh my God! Who thought this up? It's amazing. 3 o'clock, they let you out of school. You're free to go. You're free. You don't have to hurry home. I mean, think about this. This is before cell phones, before beepers. Exactly. There's no electronic tether. We wander home when we feel like it. We let ourselves right in the front door, right? There's nobody there. But there is, I'll tell you what there is. There's a list of tasks.
Oh, yeah, you had a list.
List of tasks sitting on the counter that have been left by management. It's our job to get the task done on time. On time just means for management. Management's mom and dad. They're due home at 6 o'clock. If they're due home at 6 o'clock, when do we start doing those tasks?
5:45.
5:55. Thank you, Barb. 5:55.
I did 5:45. But it
is also why we are the most independent generation.
Yay.
Independent.
I love it.
Generational quiz, everybody. Who is this hunk of burning love on the screen?
I don't know.
Gosh, he was so darn cute. Does anybody remember this movie? Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Oh, Sean Penn was in this movie. It was terrific. Right? So Generation X, we're a very independent generation. We're also the generation to have television, right? Do you remember television? So baby boomers, they always say, well, we had TV. Baby boomers said, we had TV. Sure.
We had big TVs.
Big TVs.
Big.
And if you wanted to change the
furniture.
channel, what'd you do?
Get up and
get up and turn the channel. If you wanted better reception, what'd you do?
Like, what channel did you want? 3?
Bit with the rabbit ears, right?
Yeah.
And if
we
the
only had
rabbit
about
ears,
3 channels. I don't know, maybe 4.
If the rabbit ears broke, what'd you do?
Aluminum foil.
Well, you stuck a coat hanger in it, and then you wrapped it in aluminum
with
foil.
foil.
Right,
yeah.
Gotcha, yeah.
Then you kind of went like this. I don't know.
Generation X, we had cable TV, all right? So we embraced cable TV, and the number of TVs per American household more than doubled. And then Generation X watched their parents work very hard. Okay, both parents are working outside the home.
Outside the home, yeah.
Till October of '87. It was a big financial bleep. Yeah, the Black Monday.
Black Monday.
And Generation X became the first generation to have an expectation beyond the paycheck, right? So what is it? I want something beyond just this paycheck. What is the experience that I'm going to have
That I
working
get
here?
from doing
What
this?
is the experience when we're working together? We also, of course, watch Sesame Street on TV. This was great because Sesame Street reinforced the whole idea that learning should be fun, that learning should be an experience. So what about Gen Xers and money? Will be full disclosure. This is actually a picture of myself with some of my girlfriends pre-COVID during the holidays. I know a few of them are watching right now, and they're going to send me angry text messages when they see this picture.
I love it.
Here's something interesting about Gen Xers. We actually have the highest post-tax income out of all the generations, but we also spend the most.
Oh.
And that probably is because we are sandwiched in between aging parents and children. We are the least likely to make financial planning a priority. But the generation that is more likely to make financial planning a priority, millennials. Then interesting, millennials, yes. And the recession was a big generational signpost. The recession following Black Monday was our big generational signpost to deal with finances. Yeah. So after 1980, the birth rate started to climb. This is where we have the millennial generation. Millennials, where are the millennials? Let's hear the millennials. Woo! Millennials, yay! Millennials, these are people born between 1981 and 1996.
Wait, go back.
Millennials, yes.
Stephanie, go back to that comment.
Oh, what was the comment? Sorry, I missed it.
From Margaret.
Oh, was it? That's
Something about more money from Margaret to all panelists.
Oh, money.
Oh,
More money. Thank you, Margaret. Yes, that's what we all want.
Thank you, Margaret. I wonder if it's the Margaret in the picture.
Maybe.
So millennials. What's
81,
interesting? What's interesting about millennials is millennials and Gen Xers. We have the same set of parents, baby boomers.
Yes.
Baby boomers
I
are-
have one. I have two in this one, and I have one from before, the Gen Xers.
Oh, so okay, so
My oldest child's a Gen
okay,
Xer.
yes. So you had a Gen X kid.
Yes.
You thought, well, that's stunk. So
No,
I'm gonna have
that's great.
I'm gonna have myself a millennial now, right? The millennials.
Okay, well, there was a rocky time in there, but he's like so wonderful. I'm so proud of him now. He's very successful business.
But interesting, we didn't. Was your millennial a latchkey kid?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I worked the whole time.
Okay, that's
With
that's
all three of them.
That's
so.
a little that's atypical, but
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
We in general we didn't use
But my
latchkey kid.
millennials kind of parented me.
Oh, parented you.
Where are you at? When are you coming home? What are you doing?
Well, I know I have to parent my
Who
dad
you
now
out
with
with?
COVID. He just thinks like if he can spell the word mask. Well, yeah, that works. So really, we didn't do so much the latchkey kid. It was more about quality time, the time we spent with our
Yes.
millennial children. In fact, according to a Gallup poll, 90% of millennials report being close to their parents. 90% of millennials say, yes, I'm close to my parents. Our millennial is nodding. She's nodding over there.
You like your parents?
Yeah.
Did you move out of the basement?
I did.
My mom's my best friend.
Her mom is her best friend, is
Yay.
what she said. That's awesome. Compare that to 1974. 40% of baby boomers said they'd be better off without their parents. Yeah. You guys are hardcore. Baby boomers are tough out the door. Okay, so you remember in the
I
beginning?
do remember saying, I'm moving out and I'm never coming back.
I'm never coming back.
I just wanted independence.
Yeah,
and everything. And
exactly.
I didn't. Unfortunately, my mom moved where I was.
Your
and I
mom
ended up taking
followed
care
you.
of her.
Your
No,
mom
in her
followed-
later days. Somehow I ended up with my mom. I moved 900 miles away, but somehow I ended up with my mom. And I love my mom. She's fabulous. but-
Somehow I ended up with her. Well, I think there was something that happened previously, right? She gave birth to you.
Oh, yeah, she did. I figured I owed her for that. No, I love my mom, but.
All right, so in the beginning of my presentation, we talked about baby boomers. Did you remember how many? Barb, do you remember the number? I'm sorry, Barb, I'm sorry, Sandy. Do you
What?
remember the
Oh,
number?
sorry.
That's okay, I understand, squirrel.
I was reading the Margaret's
That's
comment.
okay. So, Sandy, do you remember the number, the total number of baby boomers?
No.
Barb, do you remember?
No.
Really? You can tell they're hanging on every word that I'm saying here. 72 million baby boomers, 72 million. All right. Are we ready for the number of millennials? Ready for millennials?
Yeah.
All right.
How many?
80 million.
Wow.
They've surpassed the baby boomers. They are currently 40% of the workforce. In 10 years, they will be 75% of the global workforce. 59% have never been married. 36% live in multi-adult households. 80% want to work for a company that cares about the environmental impact. And not only do they want to work for a company that cares about the environmental impact, they want to give their money to companies that care about their environmental impact. One of the top millennial brands, REI. REI.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Right, an outdoor store, very proactive in their activities to protect the environment. I have to be honest, this answer really didn't surprise me. I was like, yes, REI. The answer that did surprise me was Wegmans grocery store. Have you heard of Wegmans?
No,
Right.
never heard of them.
Those of you who are, we don't have them here in Arizona, but I know
Oh,
we have
yeah, I
some
know.
East Coast people watching. It's a grocery store in the East Coast. It's a family-owned grocery store, but they are known for treating their employees very well. They are known for that. They have a very do-good social agenda, and they just recently released an app to assist blind shoppers. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
So millennials are really putting their money where their mouth is. So they want to work for companies that care about the environment, and that they are more likely to make other sacrifices, like in how much they make, to work for an organization that is in line with their values and their core beliefs.
It's like Stephanie, she works for free, but
our millennial.
just kidding.
They
No.
also have taken the corporate ladder and thrown it away. So when we say things to millennials like, you need to pay your dues, that's one that
like
millennials, they pay your dues. It's not about paying your dues to climb the ladder. It's about building your connections to create a lattice.
Oh, I like it.
74% of millennials ranked a collaborative work environment as the top 2 characteristics they look for in a place to work. What's interesting though, during this COVID time period, the generation that likes working from home the most is Generation X, which I think is interesting. Latchkey kids.
Yeah, you're used to doing that.
Millennials and Gen Z, who are always very vocal about wanting to work from home or work remotely before COVID, they're actually reporting liking this the least, working from home, and finding it hard to avoid distractions while working from home.
Well, I think that works in our organization, because we have lobby hours are very limited. You have to make an appointment because of COVID right now and things, but we do have staff there. Limited staff, and then we have people who work remotely. I can tell you that the millennials are the ones that say, no, I'd rather go to work.
They want to come into the office?
Because we have limited staff. Who's going to come in? I'd rather come in.
Right.
Yeah, they do like to do, that's
and I
certainly
think
my experience.
as much as we do the Zoom and connecting electronically, that piece of collaboration, that face-to-face being with people, that's missed. I think that's missed. We kind of miss that piece of being with people face-to-face. A company that does this really well is Zappos.com, online shoe retailer.
Shoes.
I wish I really had never discovered that site. You always think you're going to return all of them, and you don't.
You don't.
Zappos is headquartered in Las Vegas. And if you ever are in Vegas, you can actually tour their headquarters. It is, and this, of course, after we get out, we can move around because of COVID. The tour is fabulous. I think it's wonderful.
I have a good comment from Heidi. She said, isn't the reason millennials are having a hard time with distractions is because they have little children?
Yes.
Which definitely can have an impact.
And now you are doing double duty. You're doing your job, your job that pays your check, and then you are having to educate your children.
Educate your children. Absolutely, good point.
Just give them cough syrup. I find if you just give your kids some cough syrup, makes them very pliable.
She's very kidding.
I'm totally kidding. Now people understand, I know why she doesn't have children. So as a millennial, Amber wrote in, as a millennial, I prefer a hybrid version of going to the office and working from home. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Amber, because yes, it's a mix, is a really good mix is what people are looking for. I do want to make a point. This is pre-COVID. This is Zappos's office space.
Oh, nice.
This is Tony. He is one of the founding members of Zappos. That's his desk right out there with everybody else's desk. And the idea is that to create that collaborative environment, they want their employees who are very young, millennials and Gen Z, to approach and talk. We can talk approach anybody. Yeah. Talk to anybody. I did have somebody say, well, Meagan, if you can see in the picture, you see those tall bottles? See those big tall bottles right there?
Yeah.
It actually looks like the bottle of vodka from Costco. Someone asked me, well, Meagan, what is that? It's exactly what you think it is. It's an open bar. They have open bar over at Zappos. That's why everybody is in such a good mood when you call over there. Yeah, we've got a thumbs up from our millennial. Thumbs up.
Yay. All right, Stephanie.
So Zappos, but you know what? Zappos is a big company. They can afford to
they
do
can
stuff
do
like that.
that,
This is a guy named Adam Browers.
I don't think it'd work at the bank. Though. I mean, you might want your
Open
banker's
bar
talk.
working at the bank.
It could be fun though.
This is Adam Browers. He is HR director for Bethany Retirement Living. Assisted living is one of our most highly restricted, regulated industries in our country.
Yes.
He told me, he said, I got rid of annual reviews. He said, because the young people that are working for me today don't care about what happened a year ago. He said they care about, and I thought this was so eloquent the way he explained it, they care about the relationship they have with their employer today. And I thought that's interesting transition, where you talked about
like
being a
it.
baby boomer,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
I'm lucky to have the job, I'm going
Yes.
to do what I'm told.
What you need, yeah.
Gen Xers were more like, okay, I want an experience. How's my tool belt going to be bigger? Where millennials is really, okay, what's the relationship I have with my employer? He said one way he cultivates that relationship is he uses something called a stay interview. First stay interview occurs within the first 60 days, followed by whenever a manager or supervisor feels a stay interview is necessary. You think someone's becoming disillusioned, burned out, you can perform a stay interview. These are some of the questions. I'm not going to read them. If you want this information, shoot me an email. I'll send it over to you. But the one I like the most is that second question. When was the last time you thought about leaving your job, and what was the cause of you thinking about leaving? He said, we want to know that beforehand. We want to know why people are thinking about leaving their job beforehand.
Instead of after
After,
the exit interview.
See, the exit interview, that's too late.
Yeah,
That's
too
like
late.
when you're signing your divorce papers and you're asking, well, why are we getting divorced? Too late. Too late then, okay? He says, we want to know him. Okay, you ready are you ready for a millennial myth?
Yes.
Okay, here's a millennial myth.
Let's see.
Millennials want to be told thank you for just showing up. That's what people say that about millennials.
Yeah.
They just want to be told thank you. They want a trophy. That's the other one you hear. You want a trophy?
Want a trophy
You want a
for
trophy,
being here?
yeah. You want a multi-generational truth?
Right.
We all want to be told thank you.
Well, that's true.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think
don't know why
everybody
we're laying
does.
it at the feet of the millennials. We all want to be told thank you.
That's true. I have found that.
Here's where I think we have our generational lines get crossed. Millennials do have a higher desire for feedback. They have a higher desire for feedback. And I think it's again ties into that idea of collaboration. That whole idea of collaboration.
Right.
How are we doing on time?
8 minutes.
Oh, okay. Oh, we got plenty of time.
Oh, lots of time.
USA, can I tell you about this study that USA Today did?
Yeah.
Oh, so USA did this study, and they interviewed college professors. And in this study, college professors were dumbfounded because their students who were about to graduate college were turning in papers filled with text language. You know, like when we substitute letters
Yeah,
and
the
then we make it
little
like LOL, make it shorter. And in the same study, when they went back to the students weren't even aware they were using that text language. It had become so second nature to them.
Right.
And so I'm reading this article and I thought, wow, even the way we write to each other has changed. So for example, the traditional generation. There it is, the traditional generation. This is my grandmother. If someone from the traditional generation is going to write a letter to Tom Smith, how would someone from the traditional generation start that letter to Tom Smith? Dear
Mr. Smith.
Dear Mr. Smith, yes. I don't know why there's this weird sound effect, but it's coming from my computer. I don't know why.
I like it. It kind of sounds like a dog barking.
I know. I think I was, I don't know, messing with my PowerPoint one night. So I'm sorry about the sound effect.
Stephanie could fix it.
Stephanie, she can fix it after. Okay, so the baby boomers, you're going to write a letter to Tom Smith. How are you going to start that letter? Dear Tom. Thank you, Barb. Gen Xer, we're going to write a letter to Tom Smith. We're going to say
Tom.
Thank you. Millennials, how are you going to start that letter to Tom Smith? Millennials, let's ask the audience. How are you going to start your letter to Tom Smith?
Letter? It's a millennial.
Millennial? Yo, hey, bro, brah, dude, what's up?
Tell us how would you do it?
You know what? They're not even going to write a letter.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's right.
No.
What's a letter?
But they're going to send you a what?
Text. Email. Could be email.
Text will say, I'm too hot for you.
I'm too hot for you.
I'm too hot for you. And now they don't even send a letter. They don't even send a text with letters and numbers. They send a text full of what? Emojis. Emojis. Get it? I'm too hot for you.
I'm too
hot for you. That's
I love it.
There. Do you know how hard it is to find the right emoji? I mean, it's easy to write out the sentence. What's my point?
Easy for millennials, probably.
My point is,
Yes.
though, that sometimes we discount what the young people are bringing to our professional and personal lives. And you know what? Just because it worked before doesn't mean it's going to work this time. So just because
I like
it's
that idea. So
just-
who's saying you can't?
yeah, just because it's the
that.
way you've always done it doesn't mean it's got to be the way you do it today.
Right.
But now, what about you're in finance? That's kind of restrictive. We can't just throw all the rules out the window.
No, that's true.
So-
we have those like federal auditors.
Yeah, so those things like federal laws.
Yeah. Just those little things.
4 questions you can ask yourself. You got a millennial that wants to do something different. This is personal,
Yes.
professional. 4 questions. Whatever they want to do, whatever they want to try, does it negatively impact cost, quality, safety, or service? Does it negatively impact cost, quality, safety, or service? If the answer is no,
Give
that's
it a
your little
try.
red flag. So let's give it a try. This is why it's important to allow millennials and Gen Z to challenge the way we're doing things, is because we want them to take ownership. We want them to
Yes,
take ownership,
yes.
and we want them to be leaders.
Yes.
So it is important that we allow them to
Allow them to
challenge
try
the
it.
way we've done things in the past. I mean, can you imagine when oh gosh, now I'm drawing when Steve Jobs was head of Apple,
Yes.
right before he passed away. I mean, when the team came to him about the iPhone, I mean, that was completely different than anything they had been producing.
Right.
And he's, like, you're just going to touch a screen, you're going to move things around. I mean, what if Steve Jobs said, no way,
Yeah, wow.
people
What-
love their flip phones? Right? No, he said, let's try
Let's
it.
try it.
Right. And so Apple reinvented the way we use our phones.
Yeah, change the world.
So worst case
Honestly.
scenario, nothing happens. Best case scenario, you have the equivalent of the Apple iPhone in your industry or even in your home personal life. All right. I think we are like we're like running up to the end.
Great. Okay. Well, this has been really exciting. We did have some questions that we. Do we have any more questions? We have time maybe to answer a couple of them.
I love
Stephanie,
questions.
anything out there that we didn't?
Is
we
the
only
question- is
you
the
were
question-
popping questions up there, but we were too slow to get to all of them. A couple of comments? No? No? Okay. All right. Well, if you think of anything, you could pop in there, and Stephanie will let us know. But I wanted to, first of all, thank you so much for
thank
being
you.
here. I always love having you, or I just love having her around. What can I say? She's great, and always makes me think and challenge the way. It does remind me, though. I remember Stephanie, we were doing you want to do some kind of video of something, and I was like, nah, no.
Oh, was
We're
it
just going to
Stephanie?
call people or whatever it was, and then I went back and I said, okay. I actually did that. I actually said, okay, what would we really lose? What would it really cost us to give it a try?
Right. Yeah.
I don't think it'll work, but
I don't think this is going to be a good
That's not
idea.
gonna work. Well, I went back and I said, okay, I think I'm wrong. Let's try it, see if it'll work. And then, by the way, it was fantastic and it worked wonderful. So thank you, Stephanie. It was wonderful. But I did kind of go through that in my mind. First thought was, yeah, I don't think so. We don't do that. But now it works great. Oh, yes. So I do want to thank everybody for joining our happy hour. I do want to remind you that we're going to be doing these monthly, so we hope you can join us. Next month, we're going to be having Kimber Lanning, who's the founder of Local First Arizona.
Talk about a Gen X icon, Kimber. I mean, yes.
She's the founder of this. She works with over 3,000 businesses, and she has it in 4 offices statewide and has leads a team of 17 people. And they just do tremendous things around helping businesses, and so we're looking forward to seeing that. I think you will love it. Those of you who run businesses, want to start a business, have a business that you're going to need to pivot around. We're all having to do things differently.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you
Cheers.
for joining us for the happy hour, and I hope that you have a great afternoon. Oh, I do see a question here. Can we get a recording of this again?
Yes. The answer. I like how they already provide us the answer.
Oh, that was good. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, is that you, Stephanie?
Yes.
Okay, Stephanie.
I love it when they provide the answers. Yes.
I think that's a great idea. We should make that available. So again, thank you. This is so wonderful because that's
awesome.
how we get a chance to learn and grow from each other. And
Yeah.
so yes, we'll make that a habit. And so look for something from us for next month. I think everybody will enjoy it and everybody will have a great time. So thanks everyone. I hope you have a great. Thanks for joining
everybody.
us.
Thank you. This has been great. It's been awesome. Thank
you.
you. Plus, we
Love it.
don't even have to wear shoes doing things virtually.
Oh yeah.